That blank wall by the hallway? It's usually not a wall problem, it's a story problem. In client after client project, I've seen people buy art, hang it once, and still feel like the room has no pulse. Shadow boxes fix that fast because they let you mix keepsakes, texture, and depth in a way flat decor just can't. I'm Brad Smith, and I've spent 15 plus years turning ordinary corners into something personal. Here are 20 shadow box ideas worth stealing. That metal ribbon looks great until it sags in a cheap frame. I rank military shadow boxes lower, only because they're tricky to build right, with deep recesses and acid-free backing, so brass doesn't discolor. I've seen pins punch through flimsy foam in a year. Give it room, not a flat picture frame. A graduation cap and tassel can look flat fast if the box is too shallow. I place the cap, slightly proud of the backing, then anchor the tassel in a small hidden mount so it doesn't slump. Honestly, the mistake I see most is cramming in the diploma too, and then nothing gets breathing room. Old letters are beautiful, but they wrinkle if you mount them wrong. I like this idea because it lets you show handwriting, postmarks, and a little wear without flattening the paper under glue. The trade-off is UV glass costs more, yet I've watched cheap glazing yellow a letter in direct light. Seashell boxes can get cheesy fast if every shell is lined up like a souvenir shop shelf. I'd rather see 3 or 4 meaningful pieces with one larger shell as the anchor, because that gives the eye a place to rest. Sand, tiny coral bits, and a matte frame keep it from feeling shiny and busy. Wedding paper looks better in a shadow box than folded in a drawer, no question. I rank it here because the invitation, bouquet ribbon, and a few dried petals tell the story without crowding the frame. The thing nobody tells you is to keep the bouquet pieces away from direct glass, or moisture can leave marks. Pressed botanicals are gorgeous, but they're unforgiving if the spacing is sloppy. I like them because you can build a real composition, not just stick flowers on a board, and that matters in a hallway where people pass by quickly. I've seen thin stems break under cheap glass, so use a deeper frame and acid-free mat. Pet memorial pieces hit harder when they're quiet and simple. I put the collar slightly off-center and pair it with one good photo, because too many extras start to feel sentimental in the wrong way. A deeper box helps keep the collar shape, and honestly, that little bit of shadow gives the whole piece more dignity. A rope and anchor box looks charming until you hang it in the wrong room. I've seen the jute fray if it sits in direct sun, and a real metal anchor can make the frame feel heavy fast. It works best in a mudroom or lakehouse hallway, where the texture feels earned, not themed. Family keepsake boxes get crowded fast, and that's where most people miss. Too many photos, too little breathing room, and the whole thing reads like a bulletin board. I like one strong image, one small object, maybe a hospital band or a key, and a mat with at least 2 inches of margin, so it feels intentional. Sports jersey boxes sound easy, but the fabric tells on you. If the jersey's folded too tight, the numbers crease, and cheap pins leave tiny holes that never disappear. I always mount it on foam core with hidden stitching or archival sleeves, because the memorabilia should look collected, not stuffed. A travel box works because it mixes scale. A map gives you the big picture, but the postcard or boarding pass is what makes it personal. I've noticed the best versions keep the map flat and let the smaller paper items float above it. Otherwise, it turns into a scrapbook jammed behind glass. Concert ticket boxes hit harder when they're restrained. A wristband, a stub, maybe a tiny set list, that's enough. I've seen people cram in every souvenir and lose the energy of the night. Leave white space around the ticket, and suddenly, the whole piece feels more like a memory than a collage. Baby milestone boxes are sweet, but they get messy in a hurry. Tiny shoes, hospital bracelets, and a lock of hair all fight for attention. So I always pick 3 items max. The trick is using acid-free mounts and a deep frame, because those keepsakes don't stay flat for long. Layered Papercut boxes are the showpiece here. And honestly, they're the hardest to get wrong if you respect depth. I've built versions where a 1-inch spacer looked flat, and a 3-inch spacer finally let the shadows do the work. The backlight matters too, because that's what gives the cut paper real dimension. I've done a few jewelry shadow boxes where the brooches looked beautiful in the drawer, but flat against black velvet, they finally read like art. The catch is spacing though, because if you cram too many pieces in, the prongs and clasps start fighting each other. Leave breathing room, and the wall feels intentional instead of crowded. Holiday boxes sound a little kitschy until you see one done with restraint. I like using a deep frame and limiting it to one color family, because glittery ornaments can turn chaotic fast under bright light. The trick is padding fragile pieces so they don't clink, then giving each season its own small moment instead of stuffing everything together. Pinboards get messy the second you stop thinking like a collector and start thinking like a merch table. I've found enamel pins read best when you group by shape or color, not just by whatever fits. Use a tight foam backing so the posts stay put, because loose pins tilt, and that tiny lean makes the whole display feel cheap. Wine cork boxes are popular for a reason, but here's the part people miss. Corks look better when they're not packed like firewood. I like mixing end grain and side grain so the texture changes across the box. If you hot glue them too tightly, the surface goes lumpy fast, and that's hard to ignore once it's on the wall. Kids' art boxes work because they solve a real problem: the pile of drawings that never quite gets framed. I've seen parents make the mistake of stuffing in every page, and then nothing stands out. A better move is rotating the best pieces, saving school patches or report cards, and leaving a little blank space so the whole thing can breathe. This is the one I put in the hallway that actually needs a pulse. Sewing notions carry wear, brass, wood, thread, little metal tools, and that patina is the whole point. I've seen these fail when everything's glued flat, so I like shallow mounts and tiny compartments. It feels personal, practical, and honestly, more moving than another framed print. A good shadow box does more than fill space. It gives your home a little memory, a little texture, and a lot more personality. If a few of these ideas spark something, hit like, subscribe, and keep coming back for more real-world design help. And if you want more room-by-room ideas, check out OmniHomeIdeas.com. I'm Brad Smith, and I'll keep it practical, honest, and actually useful.